Camera.
Hi, camera.
What did you guys think of the bike race?
Oh, the bike
really
it was
good.
so exciting because I got to see Jason coming. I got to see him going.
He looked
I got
really
to see
strong.
Him climbing. I got to see him going downhill, and I didn't see him fall.
I thought he looked strong. I thought he did a really nice job. And he certainly was the best looking one on the course.
You guys look very bundled up.
Well, it's very cold.
So this is your third? You guys second this year.
It's our second this year. This one's colder.
Yes.
What do you think about the crit racing versus cyclocross racing?
Oh, cyclocross is much more exciting.
Oh,
Are you
no,
just saying that
I
'cause
like,
the cyclocross video?
not me, I like crit racing.
No.
I like crit racing.
You like the
'cause
colors.
I like to see you more. But this course was really good because I could see you all over.
We could see you all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did good. You looked good. Everything was good. And I thought your second place finish was really good.
Second place in my counting, but I'm your mom.
Who got first? You're counting with your mom. Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right. We'll go to the hotel.
Bye.
Getting ready to do day 2 of Major Taylor. And it is cold. I'm beginning to realize that all these cycling videos that I'm doing, the pre-race and the post-race, all sound the same. It's cold before, and I didn't do well afterwards. So let's rewind for day 1. First of all, it was really awesome. My parents came. Yeah, it was fun. They tried to take some video of me cycling, which is pretty fun. Wasn't the best footage.
Please hang up and try again.
They did get some good footage of me. I was 40th overall, which is not good. And 18th in the 40 plus. I'm putting on leg warmers right now. And then I was, 18th in the 40 plus, 40th overall. Then got to hang out with my parents, which was cool. And today, day 2, it is 28 degrees. I don't know if you've got this feeling from these videos. I am not a huge fan of the cold weather. I'm not a huge fan of being underdressed in cold weather, which there's always a moment when, before you start, where you're underdressed. Otherwise, you're overdressed, always. And I have a tendency to overdress a little bit in general. Still, it's cold on the start line. So I'm just gonna go out there, give it my best, have fun. I'll give you a post-race recap. My parents actually got good footage today. like there's a certain kill switch that you, and that's probably, I'll try to think of a better, more like probably PC way of saying this, that I think really good racers are able to flip on when it's
Turn right on 38th Street.
time to turn right on 38th Street, when it's like race time, right? And so I think that for me personally, sometimes that gets flipped on and sometimes it doesn't.
38th Street for 3/4 of a mile.
And sometimes there's I don't know if it's a fear, but there's something that like it's like a understanding that other people have that flipped on and I might not. And then it makes me realize, or it makes me think about how I don't even want to be in that situation right now because that's way more intense than I want to, whatever. So sometimes I'm not able to flip it on, and then like I even talk myself out of even wanting to race or whatever. And to give you an example of like cutting somebody off in a corner, right? Like there was a point today where probably I could have put somebody into like a post and got a position, one position for like 40th place, right? Like I don't care that much. Like I don't want to do that. Like hold on a second. Sometimes, and part of the problem with like why I feel like I need to get this out is because part of me kind of defines on whether I'm a good racer or not, whether I'm able to mentally do that or not. And what I was thinking about before today's race is maybe just some people it always gets switched on, maybe for some people it never gets switched on, maybe for some people they can switch it on and off, maybe for me it just, I can't really control when it gets switched on and it gets switched off. But, so that just made me think about other things, like, well, but what are the things I know I can control? In technical skills I can work to get them better, but there's also always an element of, I mean, you just have to work to get those better. So that's something I can get better on. But the one thing that I know I can control, for the most part, is my fitness level. And that's what I was thinking about today, is that, okay, I have fitness, right? That's the one thing that no one can take away, whether I have that mental kill switch or whether I have the technical ability to do what I need to do. But I have that fitness, and that's a base that needs to be there probably in any situation, but when the other two are lacking, I mean, I don't think you can compensate. Like, you have to have all three, and luck, I guess. Anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just wanted to get that off. I gotta get off this thing because I'm meeting my parents. About home. CB radio. That's what that noise is. I was talking to my dad this weekend, and apparently he didn't know that I was doing all these videos, which is fine because I didn't really tell him, so why would he know? But it made me start thinking about why I started this and all of that. And originally, like I said in one of the earlier videos, the reason I'm doing this is just kind of to document what I did as far as training and then the race season in general. As I've thought about, am I satisfied with the season? Am I satisfied with what I did? the season's not over, but I'm getting to kind of reflect, given that I have 2 more race weekends, probably. And the reality is I'm really happy, actually, with what I did for training and how that translated into the cyclocross season. And it gives me some ideas about what I need to do in, for next year. So that got me thinking about, since the season started, like September 7th, I've essentially done 0 training. Like, I've ridden my bike a couple times a week, maybe. Sometimes I don't even do that. I've gone for a couple runs. I've gone for a couple long rides when I wasn't racing. And I try to do some form of an opener the day before I race. But besides that, I've not done a structured workout since the season started. This plan needs to be adjusted a little bit. But overall, I'm really happy with that. I mean, I basically trained from April to August when the weather was good. From May to August, my work commitments become very flexible. So that's actually the time when I can train the most, or have the most flexibility over, like, I want to work when it's bad weather and go ride when it's nice. And once the race season starts, my work schedule in the fall just gets a lot more restricted, where I don't have as much control. There's a lot more just things that I have to do constantly. So I don't have a lot of, I have the time, really, if I'm honest about it, but I don't have the energy, honestly, to go out and train, essentially, after spending the weekend racing. And that's one thing that I originally wanted to really talk about, was that balance, right? Like the balance of everything that's going on, demands that are going on, but also even like I look at it in an entire year as far as like a racing season, right? So I'm racing for 3 months, but that's in a year. And during the race season, it takes a lot of energy to go to the races. I mean, not like physical energy, but I was telling my parents that I don't sleep in on the weekends anymore. Like I'm lacking sleep during the week because of work stuff, and then when the weekend comes, it's not like I'm catching up on sleep because I'm getting up super early and I'm getting in the car and I'm driving, and then I get home and I'm tired. So just balancing all that out over a period of a year of, okay, if I had to add training on top of all the things that are already going on in race season, my resource tank is going to be very minimal all the time, way lower than it was. So I'm pretty committed that this is a good training program to follow. I mean, that was the big experiment this year of, I've never used the 4-month training block that I used to use for road that worked well for a 6-9 month road season. I've never done that for cyclocross specifically. Tried to have the training session, training program end as the season starts. And so like I said in the last video, my places are dropping a little. But this weekend, even though it was some of my lower placings, both days were actually higher than some of my other races. This is specifically Cincinnati. So it's okay. I mean, I don't know. I still enjoy it. Like before the race, I was telling my dad, this is a day I'm just looking forward for it to be over. It was just cold, and given how aggressive it was the day before, as I said, I just don't enjoy that stuff. And he made some comment. He's like, because they came to watch me race, and he was like, we don't have to, we're happy to see you or whatever. We don't have to watch you race. We can, go get lunch or whatever if you'd rather just not race. And my reaction immediately was like, no, I'm not doing that. And the reason being is that that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this season, though, is that there's a mental fortitude. I don't know if I'm using that right word right, but there's a mental strength, I think, that comes with, all right, I'm going to do this thing even though I really don't want to do it because I know it's going to feel good at the end, etc., etc., etc. Or I just made this commitment. And those of you that have raced before, like for long periods of time, know, and I know this from like crit racing, that once you start this cycle of I'm not going to race, or dropping out, then it just becomes harder and harder and harder to keep going. So, I mean, that's one thing I'm really happy about is I don't think, I'm going to have to look back, but I'm pretty sure I have not skipped a race I had planned to do this year, which in previous years was a really big thing. Like, I've registered for this race before and never done it. Major Taylor. So yeah. The other thing I would say is if you don't know anything about Major Taylor, look that up. Major Taylor wasn't actually a major. I don't even know what his name really was. Mr. Taylor, I call him. And today is my anniversary, my wedding anniversary. Good, except I've eaten way too much today.
Oh, it tastes so good.
It tastes so good. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is there was a huge crash today at the start. Maybe I already mentioned that before. But there was a huge crash at the start, like a minute into the race, before we even like made a turn. Basically, it was like a road crash, like where you saw the crash happening. And then, I mean, and this is horrible, my first thought was, oh, I'm going to get through this crash, and all these people behind me are going to have to deal with getting around it. And then it just, like, spread real fast across, and then I was stopped. Decision of get on the brakes or get on the gas, and I made the right call by getting on the brakes. So luckily I didn't go down. When I see that happening, it's like, all right, that's a good reminder that I'm just out here for fun. Like, I don't need to die. Ice Cube would say, today was a good day. Ok, adesso ci provo in italiano. Questo fine settimana ho fatto 2 gare e tutto era bene. Sabato ho preso 10.8 e oggi ho preso 10.7. E non bene, ma non troppo male. E anche sono contento perché i miei genitori sono andati alla gara. E anche adesso io guido per la mia casa perché stasera Lisa e me andiamo per la cena per il nostro anniversary. Spero mio italiano ok. Ciao.